Hey rabbits, it's Trixie, and as you can see, I am in a completely different place today. This is not the usual Don't Trust Rabbit environment. That's because I'm currently in another city far from Hamburg in another person's house. And you know what? I'm feeling a bit lonely. I think I'm gonna use my rabbit magic to teleport a handsome man here to sit by my side. Hey, who are you?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave. But wait, I know you, right? You have a YouTube channel too, don't you?
Right, I'm VlogDave. I'm teaching
yeah.
German on YouTube, yeah.
If you don't know Dave's YouTube channel yet, I'm gonna put a link in the description. Welcome to my video.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Alright, that's much better. But you know what's even better than one man by your side? Two men by your side. So let me cast another really powerful rabbit spell.
What the? Hey!
Hey, it's you, right? It's the one and only GetGermanized. I always wanted to meet you. Welcome.
Hey, hi.
Amazing.
Hi.
Hey, Dave.
What are you doing here?
Well, now this is amazing. Guarded by these two attractive gentlemen, I feel much more comfortable. So guys, since we are all YouTubers, why don't we make a video all together?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Alright, so I already have an idea. All of our channels deal with Germany and the German language, but normally it's just me, you know, a random German girl talking to the camera. However, now we have two genders of Germans present, so why don't we make a video about a topic that affects both? Why don't we talk about the flirting behavior of Germans today? Great. Of course, the experiences of three people don't cover the attitude of whole Germany. So please don't take it as granted that everyone thinks or acts like this. Consider this video an opinion piece, an honest discussion, and let's see what we find out. One more thing, I want to talk about the first encounter. You see a guy or a girl and you decide that you want to get to know him or her. Most likely for a serious relationship and not just sex, you know? Alright, so let's break the ice with a little role play. Let's say we meet in the city, we randomly walk by, and for whatever reason, I catch your attention and you decide that you want to get to know me. I know that's difficult to imagine, but Dave, what would you say or do?
Well, that's actually pretty difficult because it's a mixture of being careful and like choosing your words carefully and wisely and being hesitant to some extent, but not being reluctant. I mean, eye contact is pretty interesting and pretty important, I think. Because that makes a lot and that shows a lot. Like, if the other person is interested in that as well. Well, I'd say it's pretty good to start with, like, small talk. And not too, like, oh, well, overwhelmingly, oh, I want to date her, let's rant to her and all that, grab her and blah.
Grab her. That's always the best
Sounds really
idea.
romantic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like also a personal decision, a personal choice, and depends on what kind of person you are. So I tend to like overthink situations.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I would do the same in a situation like that. And I would think, oh, well, what could I say? And while I'm thinking, oh, what could I say to her? I would act like strange and maybe even like, I don't know, uncertain. How would you handle that?
Well, I don't know. Eye contact is definitely helpful. I think to do that is just, you know, a nice indicator if they are interested or not. I mean, they might look away at first as well because, you know, everyone does that automatically. Like, oh, I'm shy, you know, the other person saw me looking or something like that. But if you keep looking and then keep smiling or like start smiling maybe a little bit, if they smile back, you can approach them. You can say like, hey, I'm Dominik. What you doing? Are you shopping or something like that? And just small talk like that. I would start it like that at least. I don't know.
All right, that was really interesting to get to know. So to sum it up, you would try to be careful and polite, but at the same time, a little bit straightforward. Let the woman know what you want from her if she has time. And I think that's a pretty good approach, I would say. To make this fair, I'll also tell you what I would do. So I would walk back, try to catch up with you, you know, and then smile the cutest smile I have.
Oh, like that.
And then I would most likely stutter something like, hey, sorry, this may be a little bit weird, but I saw you from over there and I have to say that you're very cute.
Thank you.
Most likely I'm gonna be red as a tomato by this point.
Me too.
Look, I was just about to grab a coffee in this little shop over there, and I wondered if you're not too busy, of course, if you would mind joining me. Coffee is on me, of course. And then again, smiling, 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 blushing, and if I managed to gather a lot of courage, I would maybe touch your shoulder for a second or something like that and just wait for your direction.
Okay.
Reaction.
For the direction. Yeah. I will give you directions after that.
But yeah, to sum it up, I would definitely play the cute or clumsy card. Now, be brutally honest, would you have a coffee with me or not?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said before, it never happens that girls do that. So, yes, if that ever happened, this fan fiction moment.
Who it is.
Yes,
if a girl asks me, I'm gonna get that coffee.
Could be a dog. I would go for that coffee.
Okay.
A dog, okay. Great, Dominik.
Now, in general, what are your experiences with German girls? Are they difficult to approach? Do you have any tips? What do German girls want?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, because I've dated foreigners, right? I've dated like an Australian girl, one from England and from America. And in my opinion, they are way more open and relaxed when it comes to some things. With German girls, at least from my experience, it was a bit more difficult sometimes to first approach them. And they don't seem as open. But recently, in the recent years, I've made opposite experiences. So I'm not really sure. I can't generalize, really. I mean, it depends on the personality of the person, and I think you just need to be lucky that you find someone that fits your personality.
I definitely agree with that. It leads back to what I already said in the beginning. It's really up to you and what kind of person you are. Like, would you go like all forward and like, oh, let's do it, you know? And well, not all that much like forward, not that fast forward, you know, like not for the first date kind of thingy. No,
no,
I mean,
never done that.
Never done that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I don't think.
Never done that.
No, I wouldn't. I honestly, I wouldn't do that. No.
Me neither.
Yeah, I mean.
Horrible. Now, would you say that it's more common for a German guy to approach a German girl, or did you also notice that some girls approach German guys from time to time?
Well, it happens, it happened to me less that girls would approach me, right? And I think it's more like ingrained into society that still like the guy has to make the first move and all of that kind of stuff. I think in Germany it's definitely still like that. For many girls, they wait for the guy to make a move, right?
Conquer them.
To conquer them, to like the Prince Charming on his horse, kind of like that. Not for everyone, obviously. I know many girls that have turned the thing around, right? That approach the guy first.
Yeah, I definitely agree regarding the roles and social roles that are like still implemented in people's heads. Yeah. Especially in Germany. I mean, still, like in the 1950s and 1960s, that was the case, you know. It had to be the man who approached the girl, you know. And how it's transported and transferred through media, and very old media as well, like really old books from the 18th century and like love poems and all that stuff. Shakespeare, for instance. Sounds strange to say this, but in Disney movies, for instance.
Oh, yes.
And it's always like transported that way, so people are made to believe that this is the way it should be. But what's like the women's perspective on this usually? What would you say? Is it like...
These days in Germany, yeah.
Yeah, right. Would most women still think, oh, well, it's the guy's task to do this, you know? It's the guy's thing that they should come to me instead of me coming to them.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do you guys think? In my opinion, I've experienced both. I've had friends telling me, oh no, I want the guy to, you know, be nice to me. I want to be conquered. And other girls saying, like, if I like someone, I'm going to go for it, which would be more like how I would handle it. So it's definitely split.
Yeah.
So you said that you have had experiences with girls flirting with you.
Yes.
Did you notice anything that you would describe as typically German?
That is difficult. I don't know. I mean, not necessarily. Like I said, you can't really generalize and stereotype that much when it comes to that, because these days, like, people are way more open, I think, than they were in the past, like, because of what we said earlier with the roles and stuff like that. I think it's not necessarily only in German culture, but in all cultures across the world that has changed a little bit, at least. I mean, in some it might still be more in existence than in others. But yeah, typically German, I'm not sure. Definitely the staring at each other first and the smiling maybe, like that they're a bit hesitant.
So German girls stare a lot.
Not necessarily, but like it, yeah, like that exactly. But I think in general, like flirting in Germany is a bit more reluctant and reserved than it is in other cultures, and I think girls are no different there than guys. I mean, some guys might be very like, hey, like in clubs and stuff like that. I don't think that works, but like whatever floats your boat, right? Super sexy, especially if they're drunk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I totally fall for that.
Yeah, definitely. Who wouldn't? Charming AF. But what are your experiences with that?
Well, when it comes to German guys, and I have to say that I copy what you said. But to be fair, I have to say that I never really had a German boyfriend.
Never?
No, the other was French. What was it again? French, British, French, and Venezuelan. So I cannot really talk from own experiences with like successful attempts.
Interesting.
Flirting with me. But what I noticed is that German guys seem a bit stiff to me. It's like they try to not be nervous, and they try so hard that they invest less emotions, making the whole attempt seem a little bit, technical and less authentic to me. But yeah, of course, again, you cannot generalize that, and I know that I have to be careful with saying that German guys are stiff.
Get it?
Yeah. On the other hand, I've also experienced the exact opposite. One time I was in a bar and the guy just came to me and he wasn't saying anything, he just started rubbing himself at me.
Yeah.
Which was not that pleasant, and I doubt that it was like an attempt to build a serious relationship with me. So I would say that the Germans I met have been nice, polite, and also lovely, but at the same time a bit too stiff. And it took them a long time to give it a try. Sometimes I haven't noticed anything for days or even weeks when suddenly they started flirting at me, and then I sensed the first signs. But I'm very bad at noticing signs anyway, so that could be my fault as well. Dominik, you had a girlfriend from Australia. I had boyfriends from France, Venezuela, and Britain. So would you say that it's easier for a German guy or girl to eat? To eat
what?
To meet a non-German girl or guy?
Well, personally, I thought that it was very easy to date foreigners in comparison to Germans because they are less, well, how can I say this nicely? Less reserved. I thought much more approachable as well. They were much more interested in me as a person as well. I guess that has to do with the fact that I am German, that I'm a foreigner to them as well. But I thought you had much more to talk about at first as well because of all the differences in your cultures and stuff like that. So it made things easier, I think.
I also think that the first approach is just easier by that. I mean, you have the foreign language. If they don't speak German, you have to communicate in English. So there's always this cute factor already involved. Like everyone's struggling to speak the language and you're just more authentic like that. And it's not the typical German, we know what we are going through every day. It's something else. There's this exotic behavior that you two have, and that makes it easier to talk about something.
And even if you mess up or if you talk shit, like you can just say, oh, sorry, I didn't know how to say that in that language. In German, when you talk German to another German, well, you're just an idiot.
You don't have an excuse anymore.
Yep, sorry.
So now that we spoke about flirting with others, let's speak about our own preferences. Dave, how would you like to be flirted with? What do you like?
It needs to be like a really relaxed situation first and foremost. And it might sound
like
strange.
A comfy couch.
Yeah, for instance. I mean, like sitting in a pub, for instance, and like meeting at a bar. That would be like pretty cool. It sounds strange and stupid to say this to some extent, but maybe even some alcohol helps.
Sometimes.
Yeah, because like it opens your way of like
the pants.
The pants. It opens the pants. Well, Dave.
Maybe that as well.
So buy Dave lots of drinks and you will get with him. That's what he was basically saying.
To some extent, I think I prefer people that are a bit reserved at first, but that still show interest in you. That they try to actually get to know what your interests are.
Okay, so not too straightforward.
Right. Usually I'm wearing band shirts, for instance, and people can already see, oh, he's into that kind of music and I'm into that kind of music as well. So we should actually talk about that. And that might be a topic to get in touch with each other.
Great, that's great. So you like the nerdy approach, somebody picking a feature about you that you also value.
Music.
And then they talk about this with you. I think that's a really clever thing to do.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I mean, I don't mind if the other person is a bit more forward, obviously, because then it's easier to just like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And then, go for a coffee or whatever else.
Coffee. Straightforward.
No, but I like it if someone is a bit more confident, I suppose, when it comes to that, because I have not experienced that a lot in my life, and I got always annoyed at the fact that I had to make the first move every time. Yeah. And so I like that. I don't mind it if girls are a bit more direct.
You definitely have a point there. I mean, it's easier that way. But then again, like if someone is actually way too much forward,
there needs to be a balance.
Like it needs to be balanced, like because then it tends to be obsessive in a way and a different.
They're overdoing it. You mean?
Pretty much.
Might be.
Yeah.
No, they still need to be. I don't know, normal people. Authentic. Just be yourself.
Sense.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, it is important that I notice that somebody really means it. Don't act too much. Be positive. This is best achieved by simply being yourself. If you pretend to be somebody else, there are chances that the girl or guy may fall in love with the wrong person or simply notice that you are acting.
It wouldn't work either way, because once you get to know that person even a bit more after the first date, they will immediately notice that you're different. So it wouldn't work at all. So why do that?
Don't do that.
No.
Something that is highly connected to flirting is being rejected.
Oh,
do you have any interesting or funny rejection stories to share?
I've never been rejected.
Really nasty.
Dates back to, I'm not sure if that counts, elementary school.
Of course that counts.
Yeah.
Well, because it impacts you at an early age, obviously, right?
And it can crush you.
Yeah, it definitely did. Like it was back then the love of my life, right?
Of course.
Was always hanging out with that girl, was always, I was really good friends with her as well. And then, but I don't know, I just fell in love with her at some point, right? And so I wrote her a little note, because that's what you did back then, right? I wrote her a note saying, oh, I really, really like you, or I think I even said, I love you, or something like that, in German, right? And I put it...
totally got me with that.
Yeah, I put it in her drawer or something, and she found it. And then next time she came over to my place, I found the same note. She even said that back, right? Yeah. But here's the story. Then she told her best friend, I just said that because he doesn't have anyone else.
Whoa.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's really crushing.
Yeah, and I was like, me back then, like, or don't.
So you didn't end up being together.
No.
Did you ever do that again? Like
with someone else?
Yeah.
No,
like
I don't think
writing
so.
a little note.
Me? No, I've never done that again. Like, obviously,
I can't blame you for
I learned my lesson.
That. Yeah.
No, I think that is actually something I've never told anywhere before. Dave doesn't even know that, so feel honored.
That will mean something.
Yes.
I don't know that.
And if that girl sees it, shame on you. That was nasty.
Oh boy, I could tell lots of stories regarding that.
That sounds so sad.
Yeah, to some extent, but I mean, I've always had the problem that I was seen as the friend and not necessarily as the boyfriend. I was always seen as someone you could go to when you had problems, and you could talk to that person,
Same here, actually.
And I enjoy doing that for friends, for close friends. For instance, if someone has a problem, like a really private problem that they want to talk about, I'm always there for them, and they know that. But at the same time, once you're stuck to that position, people always see you as that, and they don't want to actually date you. Like the same person doesn't want to date you for that reason, because they can already be open with you and to you.
Friend-zoned.
Yeah, pretty much. And that is, it's strange to say this, but that's pretty much like a recurring problem of mine.
So here's my rejection story. Some years ago, I was friends with this guy and we just connected super well. We were already flirting via Facebook, and he told me that he urgently wanted to meet the right girl to have a relationship with, and that he was super bad at reading signs from girls who were interested in him. And he told me that he wished that one day one girl would just show him her interest by putting her head on his shoulder in a calm second. Later that year, I threw a party at my flat and the same guy was there. We were sitting next to each other on my bed. And, well, I just decided to give it a go because obviously I was convinced that he was talking about me. You know, we connected so well, so he must have been talking about me. So I put all my courage together and put my head on his shoulder. And, well, nothing happened.
Really? That is so awkward.
He just stayed like this. I had my head on his shoulder and we basically froze for like 1 second because I was still hoping that something would, you know, just evolve out of the nothingness. But yeah, well, at some point I just lifted my head back up and...
That's brutal.
Not much later he left the party saying that he had something urgent to do and well, we stayed friends after this, but we had a really nasty conversation after and yeah, this was so embarrassing. So embarrassing.
What an asshole, like seriously. Whoa.
So if you out there have been rejected in the same way, now you know you are not alone. It happened to all of us.
Tell us your worst rejection stories in the comments. Yes, it will be very interesting, I think, like to hear like-minded people that have the same experience or maybe different experience.
Let's share our sorrows.
Yeah, because shared sorrow is half sorrow, as we say in German, right?
Yeah, geteiltes Leid ist halbes Leid. Let's turn it around now. Let's say you're not interested in somebody that asks you to have a coffee with him or her. What would you say? Would you be honest or would you make up an excuse? What's the best way to deal with that?
I think I would, if I don't know the person, if I just got approached on the street. I mean, many girls do that as well. I think, like, oh, sorry, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, because 80% of the time, they don't have a boyfriend. But, yeah, I would probably just say I have a girlfriend. Or, sorry, I don't have time, I need to go there. Because I don't want to hurt their feelings. You know, it's not like I want to lie to them, but I also don't want to hurt their feelings.
It's delicate.
I don't want to seem like a fool, you know. I want to be friendly and polite, so I would definitely say, okay, well, let's hang out. Because even if I wasn't interested in like flirting with that person in the first place, maybe it will happen during the conversation we will have afterwards.
Okay, so
you know, because
leave
who knows?
The possibilities open.
So
makes sense.
But it's such a pinpoint that when you haven't been in a situation like that before, so.
In general, I would say that the easiest thing to do is saying, sorry, I'm not interested. Even though that's like brutally honest, but at least the person doesn't have his hopes up, you know? If you say something like, hey, that's an amazing idea, the weather is nice, I really appreciate it, but nah, that's really brutal. I wouldn't do that, you know? Make it short. Be nice, but let the person know that you're not interested. I wouldn't say something like, sorry, you're not my type, sorry, I don't have time, because that still sounds a bit like you could be potentially interested, but it was not the right moment, or there's a bit more convincing needed. But when you're sure that you are not interested, make the person understand. That's the most fairest thing to do. That's the fairest thing to do.
I think you got a point there, you're right.
Just a few more questions to you guys. Pickup line. Yes or no?
No. For sure, no.
Yeah.
I would
Don't
say
do it.
no as well. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it's something that Hollywood teaches us, that this happens like in movies, because I've never heard it myself.
Nah.
Yeah, even if it was a really creative one, it would still be like more hilarious than helpful. So
I've heard of someone getting hit on recently, actually, a girl, obviously. No, but the guy, you know what he did? He crouched to the floor and said, oh, I've hurt my knee. Can you nurse me back to health? Or something like that. I was like, oh man, oh
Please
really?
Don't do that.
No.
I mean, flirting is about being authentic, showing something of yourself, not about reciting a poem or like acting out a scene.
But
Be
maybe he's
yourself.
an actor.
Maybe.
Who knows?
And last question. What's an absolute no-go for you two when it comes to flirting?
pickup lines.
Yeah. Well, definitely no pickup lines for sure, but just, I don't know, just if someone is very fake, if you can tell that they're putting up an act of sorts, not even a pickup line, but just generally not being themselves. I think you can tell most of the time if someone does that, and I think that's not necessarily attractive. So yeah, that's definitely don't do that.
Yeah, like maybe actually dating and flirting with like an arrogant, the nose up high sort of way, like in a way, because that is as well fake.
I'd say being an asshole and pretending is also a quite strong no-go for me. I mean, I like sarcasm and I like when you're a bit cheeky or something like that. That's okay, but just don't be an asshole. Also, please don't bombard a girl with compliments. That seems a bit slimy sometimes. Tell her that she's cute, that she's pretty, or that she has a cute nose, whatever. Choose one, and then we just simply get to know each other. Alright guys, thank you so much for this discussion today. I think we found out pretty interesting things. Now it's up to you, rabbits. Share your experiences with us. What are your experiences concerning flirting, being rejected, or dating someone? And would you like to flirt with me, Dave, or Dominik? Let us know in the comments.
So if you liked this video,
Please leave a thumbs up because that would make us three very, very happy.
And check out the Dave's and my channels if you like.
We tried to squeeze each other into this little corner of the video to tell you that you can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. And here is a video that you should definitely check out. It's another collaboration video of us three. Subscribe to Don't Trust the Rabbit for more videos like this, and furthermore, you can also find me on Patreon. I would appreciate your help so much.
now we wish you all a very beautiful day.
Check out my other videos if you'd like to, and hopefully we're gonna see each other in my next one. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.